Hey, Scorpio, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your quarter two reading for April, May, and June 2025. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Scorpio, what is coming in for you? I am getting the message of you being between worlds. You're not quite out of one energy and you're not quite into something new, but that's what I feel is coming up for you over the next 3 months is there is a new beginning that you'll finally be able to step entirely into. And your first card out is the Ace of Wands. So there's the new beginning. I feel like some of you have been dealing with a competitive person, or it feels like you've been in competition because I'm being shown a scoreboard. Maybe you've been dealing with someone who's been keeping score. I mean, maybe you meet someone at a sporting event where there's competition, but I feel like it's someone you've been dealing with that may have to have like the last word, or this person is constantly keeping tabs on what you owe them or what they've done for you in some way. I don't love this energy. I'll tell you that. I feel like someone's ego is getting in the way of a genuine connection here. Bottom of the deck, 5 of Cups. Bottom of the deck here, round and round. This is the underlining energy here that is propelling you to step into a new beginning. You've been going round and round with this in your emotions. The 5 of Cups can be some sort of loss, mourning, betrayal, disappointment, and even regret or bitterness. And I feel like you've been working on healing this cycle. For some of you, this is about conditioning. Something you've been conditioned to believe, some sort of lies that you've been conditioned to believe. It can also be ancestral healing. This may have to do with your family, your heritage in some way. Now, for others of you, I just feel like you've been going around in a circle, feeling like you've been chasing your tail. And this is the time for you to exit out of a cycle, because it feels like you've tried to exit out of this before, but it feels like you come right back around in some way. And I feel for some of you, it has to do with your tribe or your family or your sense of safety or security in some way. So the 5 of Cups, there's a turning point over the next 3 months. There's a turning point because I feel like past pain is receding here. There's new hope emerging. And that's what you are leaning into, is more of the hope instead of hopeless. I feel like you're shifting from hopeless to hopeful. There's something worth living for. There's something worth exploring. And I feel like you're opening up your imagination, your creativity. And I see you making some new choices coming into the next 3 months, quarter two. So kicking off April 2025, you have the Tribe card. Now, the Tribe is showing up in reverse, meaning you may feel left out. Perhaps that competitive energy that I'm picking up on here, or someone keeping a score in some way. This could be like a parent, or it could even be a child, or it just feels like you don't have the support that you would like while you're going through some sort of difficulties. And the Tribe here is about clearing away the old to make way for new. Now, it certainly can be in the literal sense, where some of you are doing some massive decluttering in the month of April. I'm talking going through the entire house. And this could even be going through someone's belongings that's no longer here in the physical. Okay. Some of you are going through someone's home. You may be dealing with someone who hoarded, or someone who kept everything. I feel like you're decluttering, but I feel like it's physically, mentally, and emotionally. That's the message I'm getting, in order for you to come back to a place of feeling secure within your situation and circumstance. But you're not quite out of this old energy yet. There's still work to do, but I do feel like this is where you are leaning into, because your main vibe is the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is represented here by Glinda's wand in The Wizard of Oz, right? Glinda, the good witch, can take her wand and she can turn those ruby red slippers into magic, and there's so much she can do with this wand. And I feel like you're realizing that you hold magic, that you have potential, that you are creating and manifesting here, because this is about the seed of conception. It is about your sense of purpose and taking a look at the potential that's available for you, and not just the potential, but how you can manifest that potential into reality. So I see a lot of you owning the wand that you've had all along, but perhaps you gave it to someone else to borrow, right? Perhaps it felt like you lost your sense of self here in some way, maybe even lost your identity, because the tribe in reverse can be losing yourself in the service of others in some way. Now, there's nothing wrong with being of service. If anything, I feel like that is such a huge part of humanity's growth and evolution. But when it comes to the expense of your own self, when it means that you are neglecting or abandoning yourself in the process, that's when it becomes bothersome. And I feel like you've been working on yourself a lot. It's number 8, which is the Strength card in tarot. This is about you facing those fears and overcoming difficulty. It's about inner strength here and taking a look at the nervous system here, your fight or flight tendencies, or even fawn, meaning sometimes we fight, our defenses go up, our walls go up, we don't let anyone in, we don't allow ourselves to open up to anyone else, or we tend to flight, right? We become avoidant, or we just get out of the situation, or we numb it. We don't want to deal with it, so we do anything we can to cover it up, or we fawn. We get lost in another person's energy where we forget who we are. And I feel like those are all things you've been working intently on here, because you are such a big feeler. You're such a big lover, Scorpio, and you represent death and rebirth. You represent transformation, and boy, oh boy, have you transformed a lot in your lifetime, over many lifetimes here. And the advice is the 3 of Swords. Now, the 3 of Swords as advice, Spirit is saying any unresolved emotional pain that's caused bitterness, that's caused you to not trust. Here's the 5 of Cups, right? That's caused you to maybe be closed off, because the 5 of Cups is represented by the mock turtle. You know that turtles have that hard shell, right? And it doesn't even look like a turtle. It's like mocking a turtle here. So it feels like you've had to kind of become something you're not in order to heal, or that was a defense mechanism. That's what this is. The shell is a defense mechanism. That's not a turtle face, right? I don't even know what type of face that is. Maybe like a donkey? I'm not quite sure, but it feels like there's been an identity shift here. Like, what am I doing? Do I still need to use that old defense mechanism? I feel like this is about freedom. It's about liberation. And the message here with the 3 of Swords is that there's still unresolved pain that's showing up over the next few months. Get to the nitty gritty of it so you can release it, because you have beautiful things coming in for you. Work with a coach, a therapist, a healer, a shaman, a mentor. Make amends. Get something off your chest. Do some Reiki energy work. Do some somatic healing, and really get to, again, the root of the issue, because I feel like you have a bright future ahead, but there's still something that is hanging on, lingering here, that's causing an emotional block. And your blessing, your opportunity is the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is to make peace with perhaps a family dynamic. This has to do with financial security and abundance. It may even have to do with debt or divorce, because the 10 of Pentacles is Emerald City. And for some of you, you got to Emerald City at some point in your life. Maybe this is a marriage, or it could be the pinnacle of success here in the physical realm, the earthly realm. But it feels like something went south. It wasn't what you thought it was, or perhaps you were not able to explore all of Emerald City, all that it was able to offer. And it's like you were ejected, is the word I'm getting, like ejected from some sort of privilege, and you were ejected from maybe even a family dynamic, or some of you, this has to do with a career or legacy in some way. But I feel like you found a new path, and you're saying, all right, this is a whole new vibe. Emerald City is different than it was when I was there. I just got a taste of it before, but there's a new path, and I know that something better awaits. And it feels like maybe instead of the path of, being down here, it feels like the path to get there, there's a hot air balloon, meaning, yes, it may be a little bit slower, but you're able to see things from a higher perspective. You're able to look at something from an enlightened point of view, because the Ten of Pentacles here as a blessing says you're going to get there. Whatever this success means for you. Maybe it's a stable family. Maybe it's financial security, wealth, abundance, right? It's family ties. It could even be investments of some sort, or your long-term goals. You will get there. But I feel like you had to go through some storms, okay? You had to go through some storms, but this is showing up as a blessing and an opportunity. So this is available, and it will come in again, even if you've lost everything here. This may even have to do with external things that are out of your control, like the stock market, right? Or, job loss, or what's going on around the world. But I feel like you have this as a blessing for a reason, saying you will heal, right? You will heal from this loss, because there's a new beginning coming in. Now, in the month of May, truth be told, all right, I'm getting someone taking their hat off. It feels like when you go to like a sporting event, and that's interesting because that's coming up twice. Maybe someone is going to a sporting event. Maybe it's a big game, or this could be like a children's sporting event. Please take it as it resonates. But when you go to some sort of event and they do like the national anthem and you take off your hats, I feel like that's what someone is doing. Maybe there's a very humbling experience. There could be someone that may even be apologizing. I mean, this could be an event or a situation where someone gives respect. That's what I'm getting here. Truth be told, there's a window of opportunity. You see the owl. The owl represents wisdom, but also owls are most active at night. That's when they do their hunting. So it feels like you're seeing through something. You're seeing through the shadow even, or you're seeing through something that maybe other people are not open to in some way. And the mask is off. The mask is off. It feels like vulnerability is a must this month, but also trusting in your own intuitive wisdom. There's a window of opportunity here, but it feels like I'm getting 14. I mean, it says 14, but I feel 4. So maybe the 14th through the 24th of May, there's something significant happening. Spirit, tell me about this energy. We have the Two of Swords. This is the main energy. So you may be going back and forth a little bit. The head moving in one direction, the heart in another, but it can also be, it's the Tolgi wood. It's the Tolgi wood, but like I just said, the owl is active at night. This tells me that you're able to see through some sort of fog, because the Tolgi woods, they look a little scary. You see the Cheshire cat, is that how you pronounce it? Which can be very, which can bring like disillusionment. You see the eyes are very much you're unsure, like, can I trust? Like, this kind of looks like a scene out of Pet Cemetery, but it feels like there's something kind of scary out there. You don't know what you can trust. It's giving me moon vibes here. Things are hidden from view. Other people may not be honest, or it just feels like, what is happening here? But because you have this owl, you have this window of opportunity, it just feels like there's respect. You are staying in your integrity here. You're not letting other people manipulate you or make choices or decisions for you. And the message is, don't ignore a choice and don't get paralyzed by indecision because it looks scary, right? Try not to let fear, maybe that's why I was getting the Pet Cemetery vibe here as well, like not letting the fear take over. And that's difficult to do when you are tempted here to walk through the Tulgey woods. Now, what's the advice? What's the advice here? The Two of Pentacles. So another two, find balance and stay grounded, because the mind may feel a little bit active, overactive. This month, you are finding clarity, you're finding truth, but I feel like you're cutting through fear. What's fear? False evidence appearing real. It's the old defense mechanisms that perhaps you used while you were, protecting yourself in some way, because that's what fear ultimately is trying to do, right? Protect us, because it doesn't want to see us get hurt. And I feel also it keeps us in our comfort zone, but we don't grow in our comfort zone. And I feel like you've held back. You're not meant to hold your energy back anymore. You're meant to come out in the open. No more playing it small, which is interesting because I think that was the title of Libra's reading. If you're on that Libran cusp or you have Libra in your chart, that could be significant. And we also have coming up at the time of this reading, a full moon in Libra in the month here of April. There could be a lot of transformation around that time for you, Scorpio. But the Two of Pentacles is your advice is, weigh up some pros and cons and really ask yourself, is this my intuition or is this fear based on old conditioning, based on old hurt? And chances are, if you are feeling this Two of Swords, if you're feeling that tug of war, it is because of some sort of past pain that may not be fully healed with that Three of Swords here. So the blessing is the Knight of Wands. Go off the beaten path, right? The Knight of Wands is represented here, Scorpio, by Jack the Pumpkinhead. Now, Jack looks a little bit goofy there. He has the pumpkin on his head. He may feel like, some people may think, oh my goodness, everybody's losing their mind here. But I actually feel like you have a clear head, because what's inside the pumpkins? The seed, the Ace of Wands, that seed of conception. You have the ability to plant something new. But I feel like it's important to lose your mind, right? Lose the mind in a way where if the mind has been overthinking or trying to talk you out of things. I've been talking a lot about fear lately because it feels like Q2 could instill a lot of fear, maybe by what's going on in the world or the economy. Now, the way I like to describe fear, and I'll share this with you, Scorpio, you may have heard it before, is fear is like sitting in your driveway in a vehicle. And let's say you are sitting in a 1969 Camaro, all right, one of my favorites, and you want to get behind that wheel, but instead fear gets behind that driver's wheel and your soul self sits in the passenger side. Well, fear is like, yeah, this is a great car, right? But we're going to stay here in the driveway because I don't want to scratch this nice mint condition 69 Camaro, or there's roadblocks ahead, or we're going to get a flat tire, or we're going to run out of gas, right? Fear gives us 1,000,010 excuses not to leave the driveway. But your soul self sitting there in the passenger side, you're like, wait a second, why am I letting fear sit in the driver's seat of this beautiful vehicle? Like, I have places to go, I have people to meet, I have things to do. So you tell fear, get in the back seat, buckle up, you can come with because you're part of the human experience and I know you love me and want to protect me, but I can't let you rule my life. Otherwise, we won't go anywhere. And so you hop behind that wheel and you back out of the driveway and you head down the road. And if anything arises on the way, you'll deal with it. But you're not going to let fear dictate your life. And that's what I see you dealing with and overcoming here is you're telling fear, take a hike, get in that back seat, buckle up. And that's what the pumpkin head reminds you. Don't take life so seriously. Try not to think of the worst case scenario. So if you need to lose your mind for a bit, right, go out into the woods, go out into the forest. I always say, into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul. So for some of you, I mean, it's not my saying. I'm not quite sure who says that, but I love that one because I'm such a nature girl and I go outside to really reconnect with my soul self. For some of you, that's important for you in the month here of May. Go outside, lose your mind, get reconnected to yourself, ground your energy. Even though the Knight of Wands here, he's a blessing. He's fun. He's spontaneous. This is a month of, try to laugh because there is a level of seriousness here. There's a level of, fears. So try to maybe go see a comedy show and also try on a new costume. And what I mean by that is October 31st is Halloween, right? What do a lot of people do? They dress up. I see here with the mock turtle, you've dressed something up in some way. You've put on a character. You've had to play a specific role. Don't be afraid to put on a different costume here for you to play a new role. Once you strip everything back to the real, authentic you have this new identity that's emerging. And I feel like that's what life's all about is we play many different roles. But if you remember that that's what it is, right? It's just a role in a scene that we are playing in our lives. And sometimes we're going to hit that big blockbuster and other times it may not be very significant. We may not have tons going on, but I feel like you are coming to a point in your life where you're entering into this era where there's a lot more happiness. There's a lot more purpose. It's more meaningful. It's healthier for you as well. So in the month here of June, Scorpio, you have the Thinker card, 4 and 4, which is a master number. Some of you may be 44 years old, born on the 8th or the 14th or even the 25th. But the Thinker card here is, all right, I've done my thinking. I've overanalyzed. Now I've gotten to a point where I'm back to my soul self. Now I can use my mind to grow, to expand. I always say the mind is so incredibly powerful that it can destroy, but it can also build. And in the past here, it feels like you are spiraling in some sort of destruction with the 5 of Cups or some sort of disappointment or even hopelessness. And now you're saying, all right, I now know the truth. I now have been unmasked in some way. But now that I have clarity, because the 2 of Swords here, you were going back and forth. Now that you have clarity about a new direction, now you're excited to build. And that's why you're thinking about, your next moves. So in the month of June, I feel like you have these new ideas. You have these new maybe communication styles, or you are connecting to others in a very profound way. So your main energy here is the 6 of Pentacles. This is about reciprocity and boundaries. It's also an unexpected gift from the universe that maybe you didn't see coming. And I feel like you've been working on and healing any situations that have felt, one-sided. Remember that scoreboard that we talked about? It feels like things are evening out. Like it's a close game, but I feel like you hit the winning goal in some way here. And it's not about winning or losing, but you see the chess game. This is the White King's plum cake. and you see the chessboard at the bottom, it feels like you've been contemplating making a very important move in your life. And chess isn't a game that should be rushed. It's not something you say, oh yeah, I'm just going to pick up this piece and move it over here. You think about it, but it's not just thinking about one move. You got to look at the big picture. You got to look at all of the players here. And I see that because that's what you've been doing, or that's what you are doing, you're going to see the fruits of your labor, the fruits of your choices paying off big dividends. All right. Now the Six of Pentacles can also be a gift. It can be a grant, a scholarship. It can be a loan. It could be, charitable contributions. It could be someone helping you out financially, or something money-wise that feels more balanced. And I feel like that's what you're doing, is thinking about the building blocks. Like how can I now build? And that's what I'm seeing, because she's sitting on a block and there's a bigger one next to her. And so something is expanding here after a period of feeling like you were playing it small in some way. And that may have been the key factor. Fear may have been the key factor that was blocking you from growing. Now, you may have been doing the work, right? You may have been doing the work spiritually, the work physically, but then it felt like you were backpedaling. You're like, why am I still not feeling the reciprocity, or why am I still not getting back what I've been putting into it? Because subconsciously, the Five of Cups was affecting you in some way, and it was causing you to go round and round. You're understanding now. You're understanding how to get out of this loop. And we have here as the advice, the world. Beautiful. This is you breaking out of patterns or conditioning. The world here represents a graduation. Maybe there literally is a graduation here for some of you. This could be a marriage. It could be a completion. It could be travel. It is a new beginning, right? The ending bringing in a new beginning here. And that's what I was feeling in the very beginning of your reading when I said you're between worlds. You're still dealing with something perhaps subconsciously here, but you're seeing it coming to the surface. And maybe that's the truth. You're seeing that a subconscious pattern is now being brought to your awareness, and you can let it go. You can release this pattern that's been, going in circles, because the world is the finish line here. The world is your oyster. If there's been delayed gratification or a journey that's been prolonged because there's been maybe some unlearned lessons, or just some things that you had to continue working on. Because the blessing here, the opportunity, is the Seven of Pentacles. There's you stepping up, right? The Six of Pentacles to the Seven of Pentacles. You see that Auntie M is in her garden, and she has a whole abundant garden of, well, there's the pumpkins, right? There's the pumpkins growing. They're growing from that seed that you've planted. We have the tomatoes. We have the lush gardens. This is you reaping your harvest. But I see here that you've had to be patient, but there's rewards coming in here, and you're assessing the return on your investments, and anything that was not paying dividends, or it was not balanced, that's what's shifting in Q2 for you. You're saying, all right, if something wasn't giving me what I had put into it, and I've been spending a lot of time in this, I am pivoting my energy. I'm focusing on what will grow, and I'm making choices that align me with the energies of what I want to grow in my garden. And that's what this blessing is all about here, because you are focusing your time, your energy, your money, and your own self-investment, Scorpio, into the things that are beneficial and healthy for you, including your own health. So a lot of transformation taking place here for you. I see a lot of you overcoming these roadblocks and these fears. So let's get some final messages here for you. Scorpio, if you would like to be entered into the free reading giveaway where I draw one winner around the 1st of the month, all you need to do is drop your favorite saying, phrase, or quote in the comment section below the video. Your favorite phrase, saying, or quote. Drop it below. And if you don't have one, I'm about to read a few of them. If you have a favorite that stands out for you, just drop it below and then be sure to hit that subscribe and bell button because I post on the community tab on the 1st of every month. All right, Scorpio. Message number 1. You are capable of incredibly amazing things. Do you realize that? I want you to tell yourself that right now. Pause the video if you need to. Say it in your mind, say it in your heart, and I want you to believe it. You are capable. Say it, I am capable of incredibly amazing things. That's your truth. And anything that tells you otherwise is a lie. Those who bring sunshine into the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves. J.M. Barrie. And that's what I mean about what I said earlier, right? Getting lost in service. If it's service that fills our cup, that is part of Earth's growth and evolution and part of our soul's path and journey. You know, bringing sunshine into the lives of others because then we feel fulfilled. But if there's an imbalance there, if it feels like you're losing yourself in that process, that's what is being realigned here for you. All things are difficult before they are easy. Thomas Fuller. And that's where you've been. You've already been in the difficult. All right. 5 of Cups is the card of emotional difficulty. That's why the mock turtle went and found a turtle shell so it could protect itself. Right. You needed to kind of go into this protection barrier in a way, because you had some healing and recovery to do. But I feel like things are moving into ease. All right. You are stepping into a very abundant era of your life. The most important day is the day you decide you are good enough for you. It's the day you set yourself free. That's a quote by Miss Mandy Hale. And that's what you're doing. You are releasing, you are liberating. Why? Because you are good enough. You're believing in your own magic. You are reclaiming Glinda's wand here. And it's not even Glinda's wand. She has her own, right? This is your wand. This belongs to you. And lastly, Scorpio, a little progress each day adds up to big results. This is so underrated, right? We don't realize that one small tweak in our daily routine or our daily schedule can transform our lives drastically. So whether this is you adding in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes a day of exercising, you will see big changes in your energy, in your body, right? But stay consistent. Like it says, a little progress each day. This could be starting a gratitude journal, right? You being able to spend even 5 minutes a day in gratitude will change your life. So don't let yourself feel like the little things aren't worth it, right? It's too small. It's not going to amount to anything. That's the opposite. So whatever it is that you've been wanting to do, commit a small period of your day. Surely, if it means enough to you, you will make and carve out a little bit of your time and stay consistent with it. And you will see big results. If you want to be a famous singer, right? Practice singing. If you want to be an actor, practice, auditioning, whatever it is. If you want to be a bestseller novelist, practice writing. So whatever it is that you want to do, dedicate yourself to it each and every day. That is what I have for you, Scorpio. Again, please do drop your favorite quotes in the comment section below. Or again, if you have a favorite here that I just read, drop it below. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Thank you so much, Scorpio, for tuning in, and trust that quarter 2 is bringing in a lot of transformational shifts. Lots of love, Scorpio.